Hello out there, this is Pastor Frank Lee, Custodian Senior, coming at you again with another Sunday School moment. Today's date is July the 25th, 2001, and today our Sunday School lesson is Justified Through Faith. Coming from the 5th chapter of Romans, the 1st through the 11th chapter. In today's lesson, it's a piggyback off of last week's lesson, which came from when Paul was talking about Abraham and talking about how Abraham was an example of faith. This week's lesson is talking about being justified through faith. The Christian religion is not really a religion. Most religions are based upon what people believe, and what people believe is not necessarily true, but it's what they believe, and what they believe could be something that's not really proven. And that's the way most people look at religion. Everybody believes in what they believe, but what they believe is not really proven, so you respect it by looking at it as that's what the person believes, and that's what we respect in other people. You believe this, you believe that, and we all believe different things. But Paul speaks of the Christian religion as being a religion of fact, truth, proof, and everything is not just what we believe in. It's what is true. In this week's lesson, Matthew Henry points out three principles of what is true, and based upon that, the expositor commentary talks about how what is produced from that. Now, in the three things that Matthew Henry proves that talks about is, who did Christ die for? So that means that Christ died for sinners, and that is talked about in the Sunday school lesson in the verse where it says that Christ died for the ungodly, which is the 6th verse of the 5th chapter of Romans. So therefore we know that who is the ungodly? That's all of us that are trying to find the correct religion. That's all of us that's trying to find the right way to live. That's all of us that's trying to find what is right in our lives. Now, then the second thing you talk about, faith of his death, that the fruits of his death. What are the fruits of his death? In other words, what did his death produce? His death produced the price that was paid for us. The fruits of his death is about what did his death produce? His death produced experience, patience, hope. It produced what we are looking for. In other words, we're looking for eternal life. We are looking for living with Christ forever. And the death has produced what we are looking for in that. And then the third thing that Matthew Henry talked about was what's parallel to that. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Even though we didn't deserve it, we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Every religion that you look at talks about how everybody is trying to produce what they need to get from their God. In other words, the wisdom that you need to use, the works that you need to use, is what you use to get to what your God has. The Christian religion talks about what your God has done to bring you to him. In other words, Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, dying on the cross, going to hell, raising from the dead, is what brings us to God. Our works are not what brings us to God. Our works is not what we have done to deserve coming to God. So therefore, In these three principles is what Paul is pointing out in the Sunday school lesson. The three principles: who Christ died for, he died for us. The fruits of his death. The fruits of his death is what produced the hope that we have in him. And then the parallel to that is that a perfect God has made a way for imperfect people to receive salvation through his son. And then that is what gives us our salvation. And that is what our salvation is based upon. Our salvation is not based upon us working to earn this salvation, but that God has done for us to bring us to that salvation. And we are justified in view of that. What do we have? Eternal life through Jesus Christ because of what he has done, not because of what we have done. God bless you. I'll see you in Sunday school.